man? This is Monk. We are back with another episode of Classes of Cinematics, and I'm joined as always with my co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo!
Yeah, folks. So today, man, we're going to kick off this spooky season. It's coming up. Got a horror mystery film here. This is going to be from 1999, and we're talking about Stir of Echoes.
Echoes.
So blue-collar family man Tom Witzky scoffs at supernatural phenomena until he lets his wife's sister Lisa put him in a hypnotic trance. Upon waking, Tom realizes he has a psychic connection with his son Jake. He also has alarming hallucinations of a missing teenager neighbor named Samantha. Tom, convinced his visions will lead him to the girl, begins a desperate search that puts him into a life-threatening situation. So Stir of Echoes is directed by David Cope. I don't know how to say that correctly, but this cast also includes Kevin Bacon. We got Zachary David Cope. We got Catherine Irby. David Cope, he's in this. He has a cameo, I'm assuming. We also got Illeana Douglas in this. Jennifer Morrison, Kevin Dunn, Lisa Wiley, and Stephen Eugene. He plays Bobby.
That's a lot of first names.
It's a lot, man. We also get Eddie Bo Smith, and there's some other people in this film too, man. But our main people is mostly focused on Tom and his family, and this situation is going on.
First thing I want to point out is that this movie is actually based off of a novel from 1958 of the same name by Richard Matheson. It's a dope book. I'm about a little less than halfway through it, it hits heavy, and the movie kind of runs parallel enough with it, with of course the minor changes that happen. One of the gripes that this film did receive was that it came out a few months after the release of The Sixth Sense. So because The Sixth Sense hit so heavy, people thought that this movie was kind of like a carbon copy of that, when in actuality it was kind of reversed. But Sixth Sense capitalized on the opportunity to get out beforehand. So, and this is not a dig on Sixth Sense. I love that movie. Little dude sees dead people. It's dope. But I also have always very much so enjoyed this film for various reasons. And one of the first things that I'll say about it is that even though it's a supernatural thriller horror film, I like the fact that it stays grounded in a believable reality as we follow not only this family, but the residents of a neighborhood in a tight-knit community that is pretty much thrust into dealing with a very unexpected, unfortunate, tragic event that happens that kind of some try to sweep under the rug, and while others are trying to actually get down to the meat and potatoes of it. You know what I mean? And I think that that's a really cool approach for this story, and what really makes it kind of excel and pushes it into that supernatural element is right out of the gate. We are thrust into the paranormal element when we see Jack, who is Tom Witzky's young son, or Tom and Maggie's young son, having a full-fledged conversation with a ghost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kids you get the imaginary friend thing, there's some kids, go through that phase, but this is not that. This ain't no imaginations going on.
No, I mean, because that last question he asked while he's staring out the window is like, what's it like to be dead? I don't think you ask your imaginary friends those kind of questions.
Does it hurt?
Does it hurt? Does it hurt to be dead?
Yeah, that is wild, man. Yeah, but that's pretty much kind of what this is. It's listed as a horror mystery, so we do get some disturbing imagery, and at the core of this film is finding out what happened to a missing young woman in this neighborhood. What ultimately happened to her. And it's crazy because it seems like, Tom goes to this party with his wife. They're hanging out with their friends. Her sister, decides to do a little hypnotic stuff to it. And I feel like that kicks in Tom's also getting a connection to this thing that's also connected to his son. It kind of bridges that gap a little bit, and he starts seeing visions of this girl that was missing in this neighborhood. How long ago has she been missing? I forgot.
They don't really elaborate, but
it's got to be at least a year or somewhere like that. Yeah,
they might like it.
Yeah, and that kind of leads him into this, am I crazy or what's really going on kind of situation.
I mean, because it really, like you said, it taps into like how, You don't toy around with certain things like being hypnotized and stuff. Whether you are the recipient or the one doing the hypnotism, you know, the sister, because she's not officially licensed, she does start to do things that she probably shouldn't have done, like, you know, suggesting that Tom open up certain doors in his brain to be more of a receiver, in a sense, for certain auras or elements to kind of communicate with him, which that's not what he asked for. And what it does do, though, is, like you said, it brings to the forefront where young son is getting his ability naturally, because Tom obviously didn't know he had it, but he thinks that, you know, just as easily as these doors were open, he can just get hypnotized again and you can close the doors.
Yeah. But also I think it has to do too with the location where their house is and all that. I think that's probably ultimately what's starting this stuff to be channeling through them, you know. So that's the, you know, the big connection.
And what's really cool as well is then as you move through the story, you know, it focuses heavy on this family element between Tom, Maggie, and young Jack. I mean, they have a solid foundation, but you can see how this particular event is starting to tear them apart. You know, I
could say they have a strong connection because just her patients, his wife, like I feel like if this was another family, they'd have been out of there, or they'd be like, "Yo, you're nuts!" Like, you know, just to even have the patience to get to the point where it's like, "All right, this is something that's really going on. My guy isn't just crazy." You know what I'm saying? Like that's interesting.
And he's having a lot of premonitions and visions of something that happened in his home, where his family stays. So it's like, it's really hitting close to home, you know what I'm saying, on many levels, which, you know, as him being the protector, provider of his family, like, he's like, man, and now has these doors open, this ability to, you know, see what's what. He wants to get down to the bottom of it because it's consuming him, you know what I'm saying? And it will not stop. He will not let it go until he gets down to the bottom of it. You know what I mean? And, you know, with that being said, I feel like, when we dive into the cast and the characters, I mean, you know, they all do a great job in bringing this story to life. You know, they work collectively together as a strong unit when it comes to this whole neighborhood and everything. But this, personally, for me, is one of Kevin Bacon's most impactful roles that I've seen him in when it comes to just the overall dynamic of his acting abilities, because he's really tapped in, like, from beginning to end, to me personally.
Yeah, that is one thing when you read about this film. It's like the performance here. And I mean, it's believable. Like I said, man, for someone that's going through all this stuff, he definitely portrays the wide range of emotions that someone would go through that. And even the madness points, like when he snaps on the son, at one point he's like he's in the kid's face and he yells at him and the wife is like, "Stop." The wife is like, "Stop, leave him alone." And I'm like, yeah, you can tell it's definitely affecting him. And he gets obsessed, man. I think part of it is he wants this stuff to stop, but I think he's also concerned about this missing girl in a way. Somehow that story has impacted him, you know. So he's kind of invested, and it feels believable coming from, you know, Bacon's performance, you know.
Absolutely. And then, you know, the youngest cast member in Zachary David Cope, who played young Jack. I mean,
Jake.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can call him Jack. Yeah, Jake. He does an amazing job because, I mean, not only was he young in the film, but he looks young in real life. And his ability to be so captivating and also so unfazed with what was going on. That's what really stood out to me, is the fact that he knows what's happening before Tom is hypnotized. He doesn't like to talk about what's going on around his mother, because he tells Tom, he's like, man, I don't like talking about this because it scares mommy. So he has the wherewithal to kind of keep it close to the chest, but also still try to deal with it in his own way.
Yeah.
And I thought that showed a level of, like, it's not even maturity, it's just understanding that a lot of grown-ass adults don't have, let alone, you know, young children. And his calmness is it's almost creepy. Like that one part where he's just kind of playing, and, you know, he's having multiple conversations with the ghost. And, you know, when Tom's kind of grilling him and he looks at him and he's like, "Don't talk to the boy, talk to me." And it's like the ghost, like, kind of like just slightly possessed him for a second. Yeah. Like, kind of like, man, stop riding and get off his back.
But also, he's just a vessel. Like, yes. I'm the one you need to, you know what I'm saying?
He can't give you no answers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I also like how he also is kind of like, you know, playing this role to kind of bring other people closer to help Tom become closer to figuring out what's going on, like by suggesting the sister to come babysit, and other situations, like when Tom first sees the vision, he little dude wakes up in the middle of the night, he's like, "Oh, you're awake now, Daddy," like he's like, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and I thought that he just really kind of enhances the creepiness of this story with his calm demeanor and understanding of this supernatural.
There's some really good character actors in here. I like the wife's portrayal, man. She's giving us a realistic, concerning, stuff. So that's kind of crazy, especially that scene where the babysitter spazzes out, who I think that's the victim's sister, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of crazy, but it's understandable. Like there's some really cool, some of those scenes right there. But also, I'm liking what we get from, just the other, like the Illeana Douglas, she's trying to guide them through this. Like she didn't intend for this to happen, but she's also giving her input, how they can navigate it, what to expect. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. Shout out to my man, Kevin Dunn.
He was good. I like
He's
him.
really good. He's always good when you see him in movies, dude. That dude is awesome, man.
I was gonna say I liked him because like he was like, he was very good at wearing the mask. Like, cause you find out like he's just portraying himself like just this great neighbor. He's a good friend. He just wants to be there and in all kinds of ways. But, the way that he can just harbor dark secrets and seem unbothered by it and just kind of just keeping everybody, unaware of what he really knows and stuff is just that is a talent in itself to be able to do that, not just on screen, but in real life. It's not a good talent to have, to possess, but it's one that he portrays very well. And then his counterpart in Connor O'Farrell, who is the other neighbor who is kind of, harboring the same, dark secrets and stuff. He's a little more pompous. Like he's a little more like, I don't give a damn whenever questions are being asked. Like, why are you asking about that? Who even cares? Like, we moving on, you know what I'm saying? So I think they were the ultimate like compare contrast when it comes to what kind of neighbor, what kind of friend element they were playing in the Wazinski's lives as well. You know what I mean? Yeah,
man, this is pretty cool with that, man. Like and I guess, I mean, like you spoke to it earlier, man, this small town vibe really does, I think, allows this thing to flourish in the way that it does, because like you get the sense that, especially we know what happened, like they pretty much the sons, abducted, or accosted, this young woman one day. She's walking down the street and it says that they're just going to rape her, man. And in the process, she fights back and they accidentally kill her. I don't think that was their full intention. But with that said, now you got to cover up. You got to get rid of this body. You got to, and that's what ends up happening. So pretty much, her entity is coming back from the dead to shed light on what happened to her. So it's kind of cool that it happens in this small town and we get these, like you said, with the two guys, they kind of swept it under the rug because in their eyes, they're good old guys. They're, they messed up. But I'm like, bro, the messing up is one thing, like crashing a car or something like that. Yeah. You go enjoy riding, but nah, somebody's dead, bro.
The intention like, to this rape somebody, and then when they fight back, killing them is not messing up. That's you need to pay for that.
That is crazy.
Either one of those acts are heinous, and like. What really disturbed me was, like you said, it's not just that they helped cover it up. They then still always were trying to play the I'm still being a good parent role. Like, these were my sons. Well, these were our sons. Yeah. What were we supposed to do? It's like, well, what about the young lady that lost her life because of your son?
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you see people it happens, bro. I don't know what it is to be a parent, and I know this is a thing that comes up when parents of kids who do bad and heinous things. It's like, it's still my child. It's like, it's crazy, man. And like, it's this thing, yo. Like, I don't know the science behind it. I couldn't put myself in them shoes, but it's like, it's wild. But it does come across as realistically. It makes this film a bit more realistic because we see that all the time in real life, stuff.
Speaking as a parent, okay, like, that's the thing. Like, when if your child does something, it's not that you accept the crime or the act that they committed. That you also still have to be in tune with your own moral compass. The love that you have for your child will never go away. You know what I'm saying? You'll still love them. You still try to find understanding, still maybe want to help them ride out their sentence or, you know, provide a certain level of comfort. But, you know, if your kid is, like you said, it's the magnitude of the mistake. It's one thing if they, you know, catch a DUI and they crash the car. Okay, we can work through that, you know, but you know, even if you try to rob a bank or something, like, okay, I get it, you were hurt for money, you know, whatever, cool. You know what I'm saying? But you out there killing people, dog. You know,
yeah, I mean, but like I said, this is
that on the scale, man.
It's the thing we see, man. We see all the time. Some parents will protect their kid, send them out the country to some place where they can't get extradited. Some people will call 911 and turn that kid in. Like it's hard to say which side people are going to fall on, you know.
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of cool. That adds an element to this case that
really
explores
does.
that because it could have been cut and dry with these guys just keeping their own secret, but like the fact that the fathers knew and were complicit in helping them hide it, you know, like that's crazy, bro.
And then the fact that it's another father trying to get down to the meat and potatoes of it, you know what I'm saying? So it's all just different levels of parenting. So yeah, you're absolutely right when it comes to that. And then you know, another thing that stuck out to me was the cinematography. This creepy imagery that we get whenever we do see. I want to say the ghost's name was it Samantha. Whenever we see her, it's like this way she walks. It's like, from what they said, is they had the camera sped up at a real rapid rate.
Yeah,
they wanted her to walk as slow as possible.
They like over crank it.
And it really it works for the portrayal of her ghost, because I mean there is not a lot of jump scares in this. It doesn't have to be. The creepy element is the fact, not that she's there, but why. What was done to her to make her, you know, so unsettled and unable to rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? And the way they give us this imagery and all this camera work, and then there's like slow and subtle scenes as well. Like,
I like how whenever those scenes are happening, though, it seems like it's cold too.
Yeah.
You know, which is kind of a trope we get from other films that address like this spiritual world, or you know, whenever ghosts are around, it gets a little chillier. Like you feel that?
Yes,
it's chilling here. Like, you know.
Then also, you know, like the other stuff, like when it shows the house, how to show up close and then draw back, or even like the scene, you know, where he first calls the sister and is like, you know, I need to talk to you about, you know, you hypnotizing me, you done messed me up and stuff, and he's up on like the phone wire, the sunset with the train and stuff going by. I mean, there was a lot of like subtleties as well with this camera work throughout the film that I really think just kind of enhanced it and make it feel more realistic and believable as we go through the course of this story. And you know, that also brought to life the set pieces as well. The fact that, you know, like I said, we spoke on it. It sticks in this tight knit neighborhood, but ultimately, what happens in the Witzky home is it's wild. Like, you see, it looks like, you know, what's going to be a nice, you know, humble home for them in the beginning, minus the fact that little Jake is talking to ghosts in the bathtub. You know, everything, it seems comforting, and then as the story progresses, the slow destruction of the house. I mean, Bacon goes from digging up holes in the backyard to to power jacking the basement. Dog.
Yeah, like, he's obsessed, bro.
And this is a rented home, so I mean, he's like, he don't even care. Like, you know, that at some point, like, if you don't find no body, you might end up paying, you know, 1,000 times more what this rented home is even worth.
Yeah, I feel like we find a way to get that money back for that. just because you solved the case.
Once they found the body, he's like, oh, everything else is absolved.
You
know, can't live here with bodies in the cellar. Come on, that's a breach of contract. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Like I said, both of those films coming out at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, there's a little bit of overlap, but I think what makes this stand out is Bacon's performance. I think this is, consider how both of those films played out. I feel like Haley Joel Osment's performance was the highlight of Sixth Sense, whereas Bruce Willis, he's cool. I love Bruce, but he's not really doing much in that movie, but walking around looking sad. But compared to what Bacon is going through, like I said, there's a full range of emotions. You know, we see this guy that's just you know, he's a regular blue collar guy. It's a regular weekend night, and he's having a good time. And then suddenly shift from that to like, bam, now I'm in hell. And it's almost like the 9 stages of grief, even though he ain't lost nobody, you know, but he's going through. It's kind of an interesting, you know, like I said, performance to watch him go through all that shit, man. It's pretty cool, man.
It is, and I love the score. You know, I'm a sucker for a good score. I think that's known by anyone who's been following the show. You can give me a chance to talk about it, I will. This score, it definitely it adds to the creepiness element with just the way that it's, you know, it's brought in at the right times to enhance the ghost element and to enhance the intensity of what's going on with Kevin Bacon through the transition of him, you know, being, you know, unaware to being all the way susceptible to what's going on. It does a great job. It has a good soundtrack too, like the little song that plays at the end when the credits are rolling. It's groovy, and it did. You know, even though this film fell short as far as, you know, behind, you know, The Sixth Sense, in a sense, it did not take an L. Like, it came in on a $12 million budget, and it box office 23.1 million. So, you know, it doubled up. You know what I'm saying? So it's worth its weight in gold. And I think that, you know, what makes this film kind of stand out a little more to me as well is because it's a little more on the lower end. It's one of those ones, like, if you don't know, you don't know. But when you watch it, you're really surprised with the outcome, what you get portrayed on screen. Whereas The Sixth Sense, you know, even if you haven't seen it, there's so much buzz about it. You watch it and you know it's going to be good. You know what I'm saying? This one, it kind of hits you like a left hook. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, all right, that just happened. You know what I'm saying? That just happened. So, I will warn people, there is a sequel. The sequel's not that good. Ooh. Okay, it's not that good. It didn't have a theatrical release. It came straight to home video, and instead of a Bacon, they got Lowe. With Robert Lowe being the main. Rob Lowe. Yeah, you know, ultimately, you know, for me personally, I feel like with this one, the rewatchability is there at a high level because you can watch it once and then watch it again and notice things that you didn't see the first time. And that is always something to look forward to for me personally when I watch films is as you progress through them and watch them repeatedly, that you can still kind of find new things that you might not have saw the first time. And it makes the second, third, fourth watch that much more enjoyable than the first one, while the first one is just simply shock value and, you know, oh man, this is great new experience, where then, you know, second time around, it's more like you get to kind of dissect a little more and be more cautiously aware of your surroundings and what's going on.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't really got much to add to that.
Dang! If I had a microphone, I'd drop it. Let me take this off.
Yeah, I think we can wrap that up, man. But yeah, man, check this out if you haven't seen it in a while. And if you've never seen it, yeah, go in. I don't know why you're watching this, because we be spoiling the hell out of the movies as we're talking about. Yeah, but I think that's it, folks, man. We can wrap this up. Check out Stir Up Echoes from 1999. Check us out on Instagram at Classics of Cinematics. Make sure you like the videos, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends about us. And we're going to be back soon. You can also catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram.
And this is Bobby Blockbuster. As always, you can catch me on the next show.
All right, y'all. Peace.